to the participants of the first Asia-Pacific Conference on Higher Education 2025. The increasing demand for poultry products for mass consumption has significantly directed producers to rear extensively and intensively housed chickens. Extensively housed chickens include free-range and dual-purpose. Intensively housed chickens include layer and broiler. However, the economics of poultry farming are still hindered by periodic outbreaks of diseases, including parasitic infections by gastrointestinal parasites that cause significant harm to the birds and economic losses to the producers. Parasitism ranks high among factors that serve as a threat to chickens. The presence of large numbers can have effect on growth. Replacement birds take long to reach maturity, reduce egg production, and poor overall health. For the research gap, reports have yet to be made public regarding gastrointestinal helminthiasis and the different types of chickens in North Cotabato, thus providing baseline information on the prevalence and risk factors for GIT helminthiasis in chickens within the province is essential. The study specifically aimed to determine the prevalence of GIT helminths concerning the different types of chickens, identify the risk factors for GIT helminthiasis in the different chicken types, and determine the relationship between GIT helminth positivity and several risk factors. The diagram shows the farm profile of broiler, layer, and dual-purpose chickens that is used in the study. Disproportionate stratified sampling was used in selecting the fecal samples for the study. The strata included the different chicken types, composed of dual-purpose, layer, and broiler chickens in the different areas in the Cotabato province. 119 fecal samples were collected from the heritage chickens, 67 from native chickens, 95 from broiler chickens, and 103 from layer chickens. And the fecal flotation was employed to examine the fecal samples for the presence of GIT parasites using the procedure of Ayakumi et al. 2016. A supplementary survey of the farm owners was conducted to gather data on the location of the farm, production practices, and other risk factors within the area. In conducting the survey, a structured interviewer-administered questionnaire was employed. For the data gathered include the prevalence of GIT helminthiasis according to the chicken type, farm management, and production profile. For the statistical analysis, descriptive statistics such as frequency and percentage were used. Chi-square statistical test was used to explain the association of risk factors to parasite prevalence. For the findings, Table 1 shows the overall prevalence of helminth infection in 128 pooled fecal samples, and that is 28.91%. 37 out of 128 fecal samples were positive of GIT helminth parasites. For Table 2, among the positive pooled fecal samples, 17.2% had Ascaridia SPP infection. Papillaria SPP had 13.3% and 0.8% for Heterachis gallinarum. For Table 3, according to the chicken types, the highest prevalence was recorded from dual-purpose chickens, followed by broilers and layers. For Table 4, the prevalence of GIN has had a significant relationship. It is higher among the mid-type chickens compared to other chicken types. The prevalence of rate of GIN was also higher in chickens raised on farms with 1 to 2 workers than those having 4 to 6 workers. In terms of the flock size, the prevalence was significantly higher in farms with a flock size of less than 1,000 than those with more than 2,000. In terms of the farm type, farms consisting of multiple chicken breeds has significantly higher GIN prevalence rate than farms with single breed. In terms of the production system, the prevalence rate was significantly higher for chickens raised semi-intensively than those raised intensively. And in terms of the housing type, the prevalence rate was significantly higher. In terms of the housing type, the GIN was significantly higher for chickens raised in confinement with slatted flooring than those raised in deep litter. For the deworming, GIN prevalence was significantly higher in occasionally dewormed chickens than in chickens dewormed every 2 months, and those birds left untreated. And the prevalence rate was significantly higher in farms with 7-day cleaning interval than those in farms with a cleaning interval of 1 day. For the last, the prevalence rate of GIT nematode was significantly higher in farms with a distance of more than 500 meters away from the waste area than those with a distance of 250 meters. The GIN prevalence had no significant relationship with the presence of other animals on the farm. For the conclusion, the study reported that semi-intensively raised dual-purpose chickens had the highest prevalence of gastrointestinal nematode. The prevalence among intensively raised broiler chickens implies that commercial farm should consider reviewing appropriate poultry husbandry, specifically on farm components and management. Lastly, access to an exact and timely diagnosis and greater knowledge among producers would provide flock safety from poultry diseases. The prevalence of GIN among intensively raised, that is also the recommendation of the study. So thank you for your attention.
So thank you, Sir Gary, for your presentation. Okay, so again, may I ask from the group a question to Sir Gary in relation to his presentation or in relation to his result? Anyone from the group? Okay, so I will ask one question here. Okay. Now, what do you think are the risk factors associated with gastrointestinal ruminant infections in various chicken types, and how do these factors vary across environment or farming practices?
So there are several risk factors, sir, that can affect the presence of GIT parasites in different chicken types. So, for example, in broiler chickens, the presence of many birds in an area and the presence of the waste of these birds, the fecal matter of these birds, are important factors in order for them to be infected with the parasite. So regardless of the production type, whether it would be intensive, semi-intensive, or free-range, the presence of waste from the bird itself can significantly increase the infection rate from one chicken to the other because the parasite is present in the feces. Another one is whether deworming or the use of dewormer are being used by the farmers. So if the dewormer are properly used by the farmers, most likely the parasite will not, the parasite growth will be inhibited, and the parasite burden of the birds will also be limited. There are also other factors such as the practice of regular cleaning, regular deworming, and the access also, sir, to the medicines, the vitamins, and the dewormers in the farm.
Thank you, sir, for that a very comprehensive answer to the question. Anyone from the group who will also ask a question from Sir Gary, or wala na po? Okay, so may we give Sir Gary a virtual round of applause. So once again, thank you, sir, for that very excellent presentation. Thank you po. Okay, so we will now move